Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of Tales from the Towers. This is episode 5, I think, and we're speeding along with this. I want to welcome my co host, Nico Joubert, the business development director at Tech Connect. And I think we've got some interesting subjects today. Some of the stuff that we're going to chat about was actually told by our staff. Actually, all of it's from our staff.
Yeah,
You told me an interesting story about Sandros, and he had something interesting to tell you.
some very, very wise words. Yeah, so it was just a normal one of our daily powwows just to stop. How you doing? How's life? And he was going through a few things, and the two of us were talking about relationships and about money and about building houses and having. We complicating life. He was sitting back. He is a very laid back personality. So he sits back and he tells me, "Listen, you know what? I think I figured life out." And I'm like, "Hey, Sandros, you got my full attention. I'm listening." He says, "No, he feels we should live like birds." And I'm like, "What?" He says, "No, life's too complicated. We should live like birds. All birds do is they try to find their little ladybird and they build a nest and they have uh, make little baby birds and they wake up in the morning, go and fetch food, come back, feed the wife, feed the kids, make sure the house is fine, and go out and find food." And I was like, yeah, life is can actually really be that simple. We overcomplicate life with fancy cars and keeping up with the Joneses and what you wear and what shoes you got. And if you just wake up, go and do your work, get back and look after the important things at home, life's not that complicated.
I agree. I agree totally. I actually had this conversation with Tabu the other day where he wanted to ask a girl to not go out with him, but he wanted her to walk with him and he'd carry a suitcase and stuff. And um, I asked him, so why didn't you? And he said, because he's afraid of, if she says no, what are the rest of the people going to think of him? And I said, but if you don't try, you'll never
You'll never
know, you know?
you'll never know.
And I
But
wonder
but
if it's not just that, yeah, go ahead.
um you had this thing. Which one of it was it? Zuckerberg that wears the same clothes every day
All
to
of them,
simply.
actually. Yeah, all of them. Apple's founder, Alex Chaffin, Alex Hormozy. It's bandwidth that all these choices take up. So they wear the same thing every day, one less choice.
Mm,
I actually learned that from my older brother. He
yeah.
had like a row of chinos, 5 pairs of socks, 5 pairs of shoes, and 5 t-shirts, and that's what he wore every day. And yeah, life is too complex. And what do they say? Complexity can't scale in business. Interesting story that I heard was that Apple, if you join Apple, you need to know 3 systems. You need to know Keynote, which is basically their PowerPoint app. You need to know their version of Excel or Sheets or whatever,
Yeah.
and then an internal wiki. That's the 3 systems that they use, and they've scaled to a $2 trillion company by using those 3 systems. They keep it really, really simple. And I think that's important. Life doesn't need to be complex and complicated. We're learning all these new software packages and CRMs and Asanas and Trilios and it's just Monday.com and there's so many to mention. And then a $2 trillion company scales with 3 pieces of software. And honestly, keep it simple. I believe in that. I believe in life and I believe in business. And Sandra's talked a lot of sense there.
Yeah. But this flows into one of the questions we had from our staff was what how do you become successful in business and in life?
Yes,
And
that was Fricky's question.
yeah, Fricky's question was how do you become successful in business and in life? And basically all I'm going to tell him exactly what Sandra said. Um, is if you can concentrate on the stuff that you're good at, get competent with the stuff that you're bad at. So if you struggle to talk in front of people, just get competent. You don't have to be the best speaker in the world. Just get competent at it. But be very, very good at the other stuff. There's that saying, um, jack of all trades is a master of none. There's actually the second part that says Jack of all trades, master of one.
Everybody
Uh,
forgets. Everybody
yeah,
forgets the second part.
yeah. The second part is still you're still better than the master of none. So
A
I'm not always
master of
gonna.
many, a master of many, oftentimes better than a master of one.
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, if back on the simplify life, be above average at everything if you can, and specialize in at least something. Those are very important, I think, in terms of making a success of your life personally and in business. Um,
Mm.
and yeah, I, I'm learning the simplifying things. That's a new concept for me. I've got a lot of shoes.
You've always been a shoe guy.
Yeah. So yeah, what was one of the second question we got?
So I just want to add to that quickly. So Fricky asked, "How do you become successful in business and in life?" And I look cannot speak with too much authority. I've sold a couple of businesses, and um, at least I can tell Fricky one thing is that I'm happy where I am now. So I can give some advice on that. But I think what works is that you outlive your competition. That your business does not have a is not an end game like golf or baseball or basketball or cricket. You need to survive every day, and you need to survive the longest in business. And it's like a pyramid. Many people start at the bottom, and then after 2 years, some of those guys fall out of contention, and after 3 years, some more fall out, until after, unfortunately, probably 10 to 20 years, you'll be at the top of that pyramid just due to sheer will and outlasting everybody. And that's how you become successful at business. And then also, um, not focusing on too many businesses, one business you need to make really good. So refine the processes. And as Alex Hormozy says, you work on the boring stuff. The boring stuff is what makes your business better. If you get a little bit better, process a little bit better, your marketing a little bit better, accounts, all those legs that the business rests on, and you get it a little bit better every day, after 10 years, you're going to be the best. If you have 1% per month, after 1 year, it's 12%. After 10 years, it's 120% that your business is better than the rest. So that's the I think the secret to business success. Life success, I'm not an authority. I think you're doing better than me at that.
No,
I
no, no.
think honestly, your partner that you choose in life is very, very important. You need that backup. And I also feel that no drama.
Yeah,
If just stay home, play with the kids, and have your pets, and don't have drama.
yeah. Dramas. It goes back to, like you said, bandwidth. If you really laser focused on something and in what you're doing, that external noise becomes seriously hectic. Um, I struggle with the laser focus because yeah, I try to stretch myself thin a little bit in terms of extra curricular, what's it, with the
Mm.
kids sport and the all the other activities and committees and stuff that I'm trying to be on. So effective time management there becomes a bit of an issue. Working hard on it. But yeah, there was something that I wanted to touch on now in terms of, like, with family and what you said with the partner. It when you laser focused, those are the people in your life that tend to be left behind or felt left behind. So I feel it's very important that when you spend the time, and the time that you spend is quality time, and it doesn't have to be a like holiday to Mauritius. I mean, a simple sit down with to me about the subjects that she's picking. I mean, that's important quality time. And I think we spoke about, you wanted to say something about the subjects choices and
She,
stuff like
she,
that.
yeah, she did an aptitude test, and she's all over the show in terms of her aptitudes and her talents and whatever. And I just feel that they really, really pushing her with these subjects, and ultimately pushing her to make a life choice at 14 years old of what she's going to be studying. And I told her, but we don't know, and you don't know. If you haven't tried different things and different jobs and had different experiences, how are you going to know what you're going to ultimately become? And to me, this is again, once again, just typical of people working in a factory. The school system, I'm sorry to say, is raising factory workers, people that respond to bells and checking in and checking out and have their lunch times and tea times. And life is changing and the work environment is changing, and we've got artificial intelligence out there. We're not assembly workers anymore working in a factory. We're knowledge workers. Um, and and I honestly hope that, and I'm trying my best to prepare the kids for their futures, because what they're learning now is all about convergent thinking. One plus one is two. And to me, if Tumi could go study drama or something where she could actually have divergent thinking and think on her feet and be really, really creative in the solutions that she looks for in businesses and see big pictures and see patterns and things like that. Um, to me, that's an important skill to have, is problem solving, being creative, thinking outside of the box. And they're really not teaching that to the kids. I feel they're teaching them how to memorize bunches and bunches of stuff, of facts.
Yep.
Yeah, if you want to
School.
become a doctor, that's important, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Well, if you look at schools at this stage, they are measuring memory, and they're not. That's all they're doing. They're not teaching you how to change a tire or how to do your personal taxes or life lessons. Where it's memorize a bunch of facts. So they're testing
Yes.
your memory. Um,
Yeah.
as we were talking about schools, I was at a father son night on Tuesday,
Yeah, that looked interesting.
and
The firing of the cannon.
yeah, that was awesome. It's my first one, and didn't know much what to expect, but it was seriously awesome. And it's nice seeing the schools with their traditions, and that actually with our things are changing, that they can actually still keep up traditions that are well,
It's amazing. One plus point.
yeah.
Honestly, that was brilliant.
And they had a speaker there. The guy was a teacher at one stage at Nasrid High School, and a big pedigree, and he's a mango farmer now. And basically, the long and short of it is a very nice long speech. But one of the things that really stood out with me and myself and Brian was sitting next to each other, and the two of us had a bit of a issue over the weekend with a little bit of a life lessons as a 14-year-old boy had to make a decision with peer pressure, and he made the wrong decision. And obviously, the two of us had a long conversation about it. And then, as the world is, Tuesday night, the speaker said one of the most important lessons he learned from a father figure was when in life you most of the time have black and white, right and wrong choices. And a lot of times in life, due to peer pressure, that black and white decision becomes a bit of a gray area, and you're starting to wonder what should I choose. And the life lesson that the speaker told us, that whenever you are uh, in a
Uncertain.
50-50, yeah,
Mm.
uncertain about the choice that you need to make the right choice.
Easy.
It's easy. You
But
know
not
what right.
always that easy.
Yeah,
For a
you know what
14-year
right and
old
wrong
kid.
is. Yeah, if you know what right and wrong is, and even if you worry about the choice, make the right choice. That's
Yeah.
or the
Look,
legal choice, or the high road, the moral
mm.
road. And it's difficult for a 14-year-old. I mean, it's difficult for a 40-year-old.
Look,
Um,
I can't help but compare myself to Brian at his age, and I'm so proud of that boy of yours. And honestly, the things that he does and the way that he stands up and his work ethic and his grit and determination is way beyond what I would have ever been. So I'm going to say, just forgive him. He made a little
Oh,
mistake.
yeah.
It was peer pressure, and I would have done exactly the same. And so would have you. I think
I
so.
I did make those.
Okay.
I did make those same
Uh,
mistakes. And it's always difficult as a father to tell your kids, listen, learn from my mistakes, but you're not allowing
no,
them to make their own mistakes.
it's boys being boys at the end of the
And yeah,
day.
and obviously, what made me proud is he stood up, he took the repercussions from it, and
Mm.
he's handling it like a man, which is great. Stuff like that has to happen in life, and that's also part of a school. That you need school and life is you need to face the repercussions of uh, bad choices so that you make better choices later on in life. You can't live in a
So
little bubble.
learning,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's all part of the learning in life, and a lot of parents shield their kids from that. And I'm not telling anybody how to raise your kids, but the kids need to be in the wild world out there, and you must trust that you instill good
raise them.
values, that they will make the right decisions, and then when they don't make the right decisions, that they man up and accept the consequences of their
Yeah,
decisions. Um,
100%.
and
Yeah,
more
kids
than
don't
that,
learn
we
that.
can't. Moving on, what was our? There was another
Um,
point.
so they asked, what is the most, okay, I'm going to ask this one first. How do you get through your most difficult times in business and personally?
I'll quickly jump into that one. In personal life issues, that's a difficult one. Um, I don't have. I've got the boys as a, how can I say, support structure. Um, in life and in business, uh, we've spoken about. I can't remember the lady's name with the rocket ship. So she says, yeah, if you wake up in the morning and you struggle to get yourself out of bed,
Rob,
imagine you give
oh,
yourself.
so Rob Robbins, yeah, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch.
Yes, yeah, launch and you get yourself up out of bed. But I heard just a short little quote. I actually read it on Sunday, where somebody said, if you are depressed, you are worried about the past. If you feel anxiety, you're worrying about the future. And if you live in the now, most likely you're happy. Which is,
Yeah,
so yeah, and uh, finding that balance of you can't do anything about something that's happened in the past, and you can't change the future. So it's much easier said than done. But yeah, if you focus on something like, okay, can I do something about this? So I've got no reason to be depressed about it because it's done, it's water under the bridge. Or geez, I'm so anxious about this up and coming meeting or this. You can prep for it. You can, uh, yeah. There's if it's something that you can't do about it, then you can't stress about it. So yeah, that's it's difficult. It's human nature, but it's. I feel like if you make note of it, acknowledge it, then you can do something about it. It's again, I know there's a lot of people struggling with anxiety and depression, and I'm not saying it's easy to handle.
okay, so I'll be super vulnerable here. In 2008, Deirdre, my wife, and I basically lost everything that we had. We had to give up everything. We were living in a smart neighborhood, we were driving smart cars, and we came to a stage where we basically climbed into the bathtub together and were wondering how we're going to end it all. And we were very lucky in terms of the bad days, she was up, and when I had good days, she was down, so we could help each other along. It was very embarrassing losing everything. It was very embarrassing seeing your neighbors talk about you and your house going out on auction and the repossessors lining up in front of your gates. Very, very traumatic and embarrassing. But basically, we decided let's just make it through today. And interestingly enough, Ed Milet later wrote a book about that, the power of one more, just going for one more day. And when his dad decided to stopped drinking, he said, "Dad, are you really going to stop drinking for the rest of your life?" And he said, "No, Eddie, I'm just going to stop drinking for today." And that's basically what Deirdre and I did. Is we just went for one more day, one more day, and I'm happy to say that we are in a place that's tons better, and we are happy now. And um, if you go through difficult times, just go for one more day, and it'll get better. I can almost promise you, time heals everything, and the lessons that you learn along the way is very important as well. We were very young entrepreneurs, and didn't have a lot of knowledge about financial controls and risk and hedging your savings, and having a nest egg and things like that. And basically went from 5,000 client seats, PC seats, to about 50 in a matter of a month.
Sure.
Lost everything, had to cancel our vacations and stuff that we were planning. Very embarrassing, but we got through it, and also became more humble, I hope, after that.
No,
So,
definitely. And honestly, that's the lessons you learned is stuff that we are still implementing daily in our business right now. Um,
yeah,
I,
once the cash flow starts getting bad, I start stressing,
yeah.
Like, try and be proactive about everything. So,
But I mean, I haven't. I've only been in business since I started business with you. Well, I was doing my own thing for about 2 months before we met, and one of the biggest mistakes I made was I got some very very bad financial advice from. Uh, yeah, it doesn't matter who I got it from. I thought it was a solid source, and they're gonna be my accountants. And basically, I had a good salary and I had good credit record. So for me, it was like I was told max out your credit cards and take as many loans as you possibly can to have startup capital. And
such
because for
bad
the
advice.
next few years, running your own business, your credit's going to be bad. You're not going to be able to do things. And that backfired massively. That backfired
Yeah,
like a motherfucker. But yeah, no,
yeah.
it was not very good advice. So I'd never. I learned a serious lesson from that one.
Oh man, yeah, that is pathetic advice. That is pathetic advice, and from an accountant,
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, yeah. Becoming debt free will set you free. So every day we're working towards that. In myself and Niku, guys, you need to be debt free. That's going to
yeah.
set you free. Credit cards tear it up. It's not worth it. The sleepless nights are not worth it. It's like bad juju. It's bad karma.
Mhm.
Get rid of that stuff. Okay, um, so another question was, what's okay? We basically covered what mistakes did you make. So they're asking as well. This one was from Samantha. What is the most difficult choice you ever had to make?
Yo, yo.
You want me to
Uh,
go?
yeah, if you got one, you can go. I've got.
Okay. So the most difficult choice I ever had to make was starting the business, because I was in a nice corporate career, earning a good salary, living a nice life, and the entrepreneurial juices were just flowing through me, and I could see so many things that I could change in the business that I was in, working for somebody. And the people really helped me. They sent me overseas, and I went to study. And my boss, my direct boss, Mark Gordon, was the most amazing boss, with the most amazing backup that you could ever get. And our head of group IT was a guy called Joe Morris. And the amount of effort and training and coaching they put in me, and then all of a sudden telling them, guys, I need to go out on my own and, you know, fly. And the they really were not happy. They felt like I broke all their trust, and they didn't even give me an exit interview. And what happened probably months, 10 months later, is I finally managed to speak to both of them. and explained to them and sat down. And weirdly enough, all the business that I got after that was from them when they finally understood what I was all about. So that was the most difficult. And then secondly was moving from Gauteng to the tiny little sleepy town called Komatipoort. And leaving all that luxury behind in the swimming pool and the beautiful house and the pets and the city living. And I just knew in my heart that I had to make this move, not just for myself, but for my family, having a better standard of living. The moment I met the people in Komatipoort, they were just out of this world. Um, One name keeps on popping up is Bashan Kok. He was the nicest, friendliest person I've ever met, and caring, So he symbolizes Komatipoort for me. So
Oh, yeah.
that's why,
Um,
yeah, that was one of the most difficult things.
it's funny how our stories ending up in Komatipoort so much the same in terms of a major life decision. Um, I got a divorce in Komatipoort, and I was basically sitting in a corporate job, reached what I was able to reach. So I was sitting as, am I going to be down in the dumps, and am I going to sit in this same job for the next 35 years of my life? Or is this maybe time for a major change, a scenic change, yeah, change of scenery and a change of job, and actually having the balls to decide I'm going to do my own thing, moving away from a set salary and a very very good salary. Um, that's most likely definitely the biggest decision I've ever made. No experience of running my own business. I can add and subtract. So the books, in my opinion, would be fine, which was a mistake. But yeah, luckily I can sell. I can sell, and I like people, and that's the big thing for me was, okay, I know I'll be able to get business. I must just make sure that the jobs gets done. But yeah, that was a very big one
Hmm.
for me.
Yeah, I think also what's mistakes that you've ever made is I ran businesses without being able to sell, and clients are everything in a business, the lifeblood of a business, and luckily I met you. So that's like the perfect combo in Komatipoort and Kumazi. Is you need somebody that's able to sell and somebody that's able to make the back office run. And I think that's where we complement each other perfectly.
Definitely. Yeah, you
So
keep my promises.
sometimes damn difficult,
Yeah, so,
but
some of our first meetings, I remember getting like a kick in the shin because I'm promising we're going to Mars and we can only go to the moon. But yeah, I was like, hold on.
made
Uh,
it happen. We've
yeah,
made
we
it
made it
happen.
happen.
Yeah. So I think that kind of rounds up what we wanted to talk about today. The questions that the staff asked, they're going to keep it coming. And if you guys out there have any
Hmm.
questions, please give us a shout out. I think that we're on our way to massive success, and I would love to document this journey for our kids and these life lessons one day as like an archive which they can refer back to when they have difficult choices and want to make decisions in their lives. And I think success leaves breadcrumbs or clues, and the success that we're busy chasing, they're going to be able to follow those breadcrumbs and those clues and hopefully learn a thing or two with these podcasts. Look, we're not multi-millionaires yet, but we're damn well on our way, and we're going to make it work.
Yeah, no, definitely. And listen, it's going to be fun to have a look at our podcast 5 and 6 when we've done 400, and we're smiling
Mhm.
with a, uh, like you say, multi-million rand business, and looking back at the old stories, we might have forgotten them. So we're going to watch the podcast for ourselves, maybe.
from your mouth to God's ears. But I must say, I'm enjoying the journey. This
Oh, no,
trip is Ricky, loving it. It's a roller
every
coaster
second.
ride.
Every second. You told me a few months ago, are you ready? Strap into the roller coaster, and
Yeah,
we're going flat out.
we're going. Yeah, it's a bumpy ride, and we've derailed a bit along the way, but we've always managed to land back on our feet. So no, it's been fun, Niku. Honestly, I'm enjoying this journey with you and with
Awesome.
my family at Tech Connect. Love each and every one of them and the growth that we're seeing in them every day and the responsibility and the maturity and the, yeah, I think sometimes they take the brunt of the punishment for us and they handle the difficulties for us. And I love each and every one of them, allowing us to steer the ship for them.
Yep. No, very happy. Thanks, dude,
Okay.
and cheers, everybody,
Yeah.
and love you, buddy. My all
Love
my best
you
to the
and
family that side.
that side as well. Love you and enjoy your weekend.
Cheers, cheers.
Cheers, cheers.